All right, guys. Today, this is pretty awesome. I got Bryan Barocio. He's in Italy. He works at MK Sales, and he's doing some training out there. And he was nice enough to come on, and we're going to just talk about kind of what Renner does and how it differs from what we're used to in the American system. He's going to give us a whole bunch of information, so I'm really excited.
Yes.
So thanks for coming on, man.
Of course, anytime, man.
Well, so just real quick, so that people kind of, most guys in the industry know who you are, but for those that don't, just give us just a little brief background of kind of what you've done the last 5 or 6 years.
Oh man, from being in school to having my own wood finishing career. Basically, if you guys look me up, I'll be under Instagram as Fine Wood Finishers. And Fine Wood Finish is actually my company before I started doing this. And so I was doing that for a while, and then I went to go work for Worth, where I was selling ML Campbell and also Malaysia. Malaysia was in the last year. And from that point on, I went to work for MK Sales and Renner. It's kind of just a real fast breakdown of how.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I actually didn't know that you had your own finishing shop, so that's really cool, the information to know, because I know that you're like, you know your stuff, and that's unusual sometimes for product reps to be able to spray and troubleshoot. And that's one thing that I kind of grabbed onto you real quick was you knew how to troubleshoot. You knew a lot about equipment and other coatings, and so I think that's a real asset for you to have and for guys that are buying from you. Well, real quick. So one of the things that has been an issue for me, and I know a lot of other people, is just, the whole new European system that kind of started, churning last year, about a year ago. And will you just talk about Renner's approach to water base, kind of their thought process and how they, view it, because it's obviously much different than what we're used to here in the States.
Yes. So, really, Renner are the leaders in water-based finishes. When other companies are looking, especially in Italy, other companies were looking at polyurethane, solvent-based side, 2K, polyurethane, polyester, sealers and top coats. Renner was really putting a lot of focus on water-based, and actually people thought they were a joke. Like, why would this company put so much interest in the water-based? Because they knew the future. So that being said, they have a lot of R&D. The majority of the R&D, I would say about 80%, is in water-based technology over solvent-based technology. Now, everybody else is trying to catch up to them in the meanwhile, but they already are on top of their game as far as any kind of water-based technology.
Cool.
Go ahead.
So what's one of the things too that I've noticed is the application methods are different. Can you talk a little bit about that? With the American systems, the coatings are a lot thinner. And one of the things that keeps coming up is both with Malaysia and Renner is that they really kind of believe in building with sealers, and then you're only really putting one top coat on. You can obviously do it with 2 top coats, but the system's really designed to go the other direction. What's the thought process behind that?
I think majority of what they do outside the United States are a system of a sealer and then a top coat. We want everything in the United States to be self-sealing product. So we have for instance, if I go back to pre-cat technology, which is an acid curing technology, a lot of people will want a self-sealing pre-cat that can seal itself, correct? And in Italy, they have high viscosity materials, so even the sealer is high viscosity and high build. So you can build with the sealer, maybe 1 or 2 coats, depending on what style, what look you're looking for, and then finish off the last coat to give you the added durability. The majority of the time, the primers or the sealers are going to give you that build that you need and the sandability you need until you put the final 1 coat of top coat on. So that's basically how they would like things to be done here in Italy. But in the United States, we have our own ideas of how water-based or even solvent-based technology should be like. Around the world, they're mostly stuck to sealers, top coats, and that's it.
So is there any advantage? That's the one thing I think that we have a hard time here is that we feel like that 2 top coats is going to be more durable than the 1 top coat. But like, I think some of this is kind of because it's a higher viscosity and it's meant to be applied like much heavier. You're talking 4 or 5 wet mills. I mean, if you do that, on a vertical surface with an American coating, like that's just not going to work out. So does that play into this thought process?
Yes, the hanging process is it's definitely put into the primers and the sealers a lot more than the top coat. And it does go into the overall process of what they're trying to achieve. But yeah, you'll have a lot higher viscosity materials, a lot more versatile materials, easy to use, higher wet mills, no cracking issues when you put it higher wet mills. Because the issue that I have with North America products is you put it on heavy, a number of different top coats that I really don't want to talk about.
Sure.
You put those on heavy, then those will tend to crack. And I've seen a number of different people, especially on the different forums on Facebook. I've noticed they said they put it on heavy and they got some cracking on the edges because the material is trying to shrink back. They get those cracking on the edges. With the Renner products and also the Malaysia products, the Italian products in general, you can get some really, really high wet mills without having that shrink back and the crack that you would normally associate with North American products.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've noticed too, like especially with the Renner products, is like they have a really great elasticity to them, which I think goes to what you're saying. I mean, every one of them that I've tested and looked at, like they're not chippy type coatings. I mean, they're hard, but yet they've still got that really great flexibility to them. Now, one thing I'm curious about is like, what are the main applications that, like, in terms of equipment that Italy's using? Are they using the same things we are, or are they really kind of gearing these more towards like an air-assisted, airless setup? And then also, like, with reduction and things, like a lot of us have had, issues with, if we're using HVLP turbines, like we're having to reduce it down. And how does that kind of affect? I know that was probably like a lot of questions in one, but
no. I'm going to talk about the pumps real fast and how that associates with the materials. A lot of people, especially in North America, they think that, I have a high viscosity material, I need a bigger tip from HVLP. And theoretically you do. But if you have a higher viscosity material, you should then use a pump system that could push that material through a 0.5 or 1.5, 1.7 tip. Not thinning down the material where you bring down the solids, and then you try to push it out of a 1.7, 1.5 at an HVLP gun, which doesn't produce enough pressure for the material to flow through. You should really change up the way your machines are working. Instead of using the HVLP, use an air-assisted airless to shoot out the material without thinning the material out at all. But yes, you can thin out the material. That's no issue. For us, we say 5% because our material is pretty much there where you need it to be at. But yes, you can thin it out 5% if you want to shoot it out of a 1.5 tip. Now, it all comes back to what kind of equipment you have.
Sure.
I know you shoot out of the Harbor Freight gun, and I think it's pretty good for the first job, and after that, you get clogged and you just can't work it, and you're wondering why it's not pushing out the material. I think those guns are meant for high flow, but not really good atomization. So that's why I think you're able to push that material through a Harbor Freight gun with no issue. But once you bring back the high flow and, hey, what's up, kitty?
Sorry, my cat just jumped up here.
Once you bring back the high flow and look at the atomization instead of the material flowing through, and that's it. I think they always play a game with the products as far as the spray equipment. They either want high flow or maximum transfer efficiency or maximum atomization. So there's always a game they're playing with the equipment themselves as far as the manufacturers. But you need to realize that if you want to use a high viscosity material, you should tend to go to a air-assisted airless or an airless application.
Now, one question I have, there's been rumors that fly around and are about the pump system using a I'm forgetting the name of it, but instead of a piston pump, it's a like the Titan 655.
Like a double diaphragm.
Yeah, diaphragm pump. That's the word I'm looking for. Do you got are they using those? Wagner Cobra, that was one that's come up before.
Oh, beautiful pump. Mm-hmm.
So how do those work versus an air assisted airless? I mean, I know they're like the same thing, but like, is a diaphragm pump any better for guys than, the standard air assisted airless, piston pump?
The diaphragm pumps are really good for changing out materials really fast. It's self-circulating. But I would say, as far as you're going to get a lot more pressure with the diaphragm pump, and then the needle size is going to depend on, the atomization is going to depend on the needle size. So when I first started finishing, I was finishing with a Spray Tech hopper, which is diaphragm pump, and then I'll change up the needle size or the tip size to like a extended flat tip. So that extended flat tip would give me the atomization I would need for a fine finish tip. Same thing is going to happen with the Cobra, is you're going to need a different tips in order to get the different atomization you want, but it's going to push up the material with a lot of force. The air assisted airless, I believe, is going to be a little bit better to adjust, but they're very similar in the spray applications as far as the Wagner goes. But if I was using a hopper like from Titan or Spray Tech, those just push in a lot of material. They're high flow materials, high flow application, where they're just pushing. And the atomization is going to come really from the tip size.
Gotcha. That's great information. Thanks for that. One other question, speaking of, that's one thing that I've noticed too, like with the Renner stuff, is like, I mean, I can shoot it out of an HVLP with very minimal thinning. 5% is kind of what I've been kind of recommended, but you can go down as low as 2% if you're using a bigger, bigger needle nozzle. Like I've been shooting with like 1.8 or a 2.0, just fiddling around with those. I did those countertops with the 718, and beautiful. I did I used the turbine system and shot with like a 1.8, and then used like a high solids cap. And I just the only reason I thinned it was because it was like 90 degrees, so I put a little butyl cell in there and a little bit of water, and it was like maybe like a 5%, and it was awesome. And that stuff, one of the things I've noticed, that even if you put it on high, it really dries pretty fast still too. Like it's not a slow dry. So yeah.
No, it's not. Very good. That's the right way of doing things, man. I tell you the truth. Even if you use like a butyl cell and you mix it with water, 50-50, and then you throw in your material, that'd be a very good reduction or retarder for your materials. Yeah. So you're doing everything right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Speaking of the Harbor Freight, so yeah, I kind of do that just to be funny, and some of it's literally just to try, just to see. It's like, what the heck? I shot that 855 and did a little funny thing on TikTok for some of the guys, and they got a kick out of that. But it came out. I just had to, like, instead of just doing like one pass, I had to kind of box coat it like a couple of times, because I wasn't getting a whole lot of material out. It could have been used to be thin, because that thing's only like a 1.4, but it came out really, really nice.
Good. Very good.
So that's a good segue. Let's talk about so what are kind of the top finishes like? Because I have seen a difference between Renner North America products and Renner Italia, and some of the new Italian ones that you guys are bringing in, like the 851 and the 643. I mean, people are going crazy over those right now.
Yes.
And then the 855 as well. So what are some of the top? What are some of the differences, if you can speak on that a little bit, between the two?
Okay. As far as the 851, let's talk about the 851. It's really designed to be a 2K or a 1K system. We prefer you use the catalyst inside the material. And it's going to be your go-to 2K clear top coat, which will give you the added durability against marring, chemical durability, and hardness altogether. And then we go down to another Italian product, which is going to be the 643. The 643 is going to be your high build sealer. So really, if you just build a high build sealer, maybe 2 coats of that, and then 1 coat of the 851, you have a flawless system. We have another product that we've been researching here. And hold on one second. Let me go grab it. I'm going to bring it over here. There it comes. All right. So we have I know we're mostly stuck on the water-based systems, but there is a time for solvent-based.
Sure.
A lot of times people want a high build, full grain fill, and they put on a lot of coats, maybe up to 4 coats in order to get the high build. Renner has been research into a solvent-based polyurethane that has 0 aromatics, that has a pure green system, because in Europe they're very strict on their green systems. So Renner has come up with a product that is high build. It's a sealer. It's a high build sealer that mimics a polyester, but doesn't need isolante. And people out there don't understand this. Usually polyesters and polyurethanes need an isolante in order to get you the maximum adhesion against any kind of stains or even the wood itself. You need to lock in the wood. This product they created, no isolante, and it's a sealer. So it's a polyester, a polyurethane, and an isolante all in one product. So This is it right here. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but that's a full fill on some oak. It's a veneer oak, but that's a full fill on some oak. That we did 2 coats of that sealer, and then 1 coat of the A51. Now, nice. People will ask, why would you use A51? Why can't you just use a polyurethane solvent-based side? You can. I would say our A51 would be higher than most solvent-based polyurethane as far as durability. So it's a very good product to use on kitchen countertops, on restaurant tables. This system would be a foolproof system for a high build. So those are kind of systems that Renner are creating. I can go through all the product lines, but I can tell you right now, every product that we have from Renner, even USA, Italy, or Brazil, all the product line across the board. Get that cat out of here.
I know I don't know why this cat never wants you to pick it up, and now it's all over me.
So every product we have across the board is meant for certain reasons. That helped me actually go into what I really wanted to talk about. Renner is a company, and I took a tour of the plant. Renner is a company really focuses on smaller batch manufacturing, and that's only because. It's not because they can't do a big batch. They can. They can do 2,000 kilograms, no problem. Even 20,000 kilograms, no problem. But when it comes down to listening to their customers, that's what Renner is all about. So if a customer says, I go through a drum a week, and I have a material that I want to be somewhat like this and something like this, and all these different attributes, then Renner will actually sit there and make them a coating. And that's how they go into the Italian market. They make people coatings. And they have their own resin line. So they're vertically inclined, have their own resin that they make themselves. They have all the formulations to them, just in case the company says, oh, yeah, I have a resin for you, but I'm not making it anymore because you're the only people that buy it. I'm going to suggest you go into a different resin. Well, that's going to mess up their whole formulation of their product. So now they make all the resins themselves. And that's kind of how the company is. They want to definitely make key products for key end users. So all the products across the board they have in USA, Brazil, or Italy are going to be good for whatever application you're looking for. If you said you want a low viscosity material, certain Zane properties as far as the Zane cup or the Ford cup, and you want it to be quick drying, but you don't care about durability, then we can go into a product that we have for you, But you say you want the best, high quality, high durability, and you don't care about the dry time, then we have a product for you. Then you say you care about the dry time, but you want high quality, high durability, and we have another product for you. So all these different product lines that might fit your needs. And once you have a consultation with us, we're able to help you out, or help you figure that out more and more. So that's kind of how MK Sales and Renner work together, understanding what the market, the North American market needs.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point to hit on because I've heard that before, and that's why like so many guys are confused about all the numbers and the dots after the numbers, but it's because of what you're talking about, right? Am I
Yes.
right? Yeah. So
Yes.
if
Yes.
someone tweaks it, then they've got to put an extra number or something on it. But I
Well,
just kind of remember it as the middle number. That kind of helps me,
yes.
clarify. So whatever that middle number is, but I posted a chart in a couple of the chat
Mhm.
rooms and on my Instagram and stuff. And if you guys are looking for that, you can go check out my Instagram page. But I have a chart there that tells you how to decode the system. And once you understand it, it makes total sense. It really does.
Yes. Yeah. Just numbers.
Yeah. It's just the whole world that we're not used to. It's
Yes.
adjusting to a European, type system. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, all right. So one of the things I know that a lot of people have question is, and this is more directed towards you guys at MK Sales, but so how does color matching and tinting work with dyes and stains? So let's just first talk about like let's say you've got somebody that needs a color match on a kitchen cabinet. How does that work? Do they just call that in and tell you what they want, and then it's like what's the turnaround times and that sort of thing?
Yes. So if they want a color match, let's say it's gonna be a solid color, they can either tell us the color office or even go on our website. We prefer that they go on our website and fill in all that information there, so it can be easily be input into our system. It'll be a faster transaction, or they can talk to us if they need to figure out what product they need to use altogether. Um, but basically, you either send in a swatch or you tell us what swatch it is, Sherwin-Williams, Kelly Moore, Dunn Edwards, etc. And then we go ahead and we match that color. The way we do matching is very specific. We actually look at all the deltas, and we actually send you the deltas when we're done with it. So you can definitely know how close we are to the color. Underneath the 0.5, it's very hard to tell with the human eye, and obviously the different colorants we put in is a different colorant system that they used, or the manufacturer of that color used for that individual color. So we might have different light bounce, the metamerism might be a little bit different, but altogether, we're pretty close to what the color is, and that's kind of how we go around our system. So there's me to talk to, which I am the sales director for MQ Sales. Also Daniel, who Daniel is our director, our technical director. You can talk to either one of us, and we'll try to figure out what's going on with the products, and try to figure out what system you should actually go into and what color match, how we're going to go around the color matching. Do you send the swatch, or we find the swatch for you? And also, you can call our office at any time. Really, our whole entire team is surrounding finishing. That's all we think about all day is finishing. Unlike these bigger companies, that's kind of why I moved away from the bigger companies and more towards a finish central company, because I wanted to only focus on finishing, not focus on hardware and
Oh yeah.
pumps all day and flat
Right.
lines all day and all these different things that I was focusing on. I really just wanted to bring my attention to what I'm good at, which is finishing alone.
Well, hey, you mentioned a couple of words that some people may not know, and that's the delta and then the tamborism. Can you kind of like
Yes.
simplify what the delta
Mm-hmm.
is?
So deltas are created of, there are different ways of measuring color. So I think it's delta A, delta B, delta L, and delta E. Delta L is going to be your lightness. Delta A is going to be, I believe, your red to green, and delta B is going to be your blue to yellow. And that's how we measure the color, well, how we see it, and also how the color spectrometer, which is the color spectrometer, is a system we use to measure out that color, to compare it to itself or to another swatch. And also the metamerism is going to be the way light hits the surface, or when we get a board like this and we see the shift of light across the surface. That metamerism, when the shift of light comes over it, might be different from another material very similar to this, but I would bring the light over it, and the light will change it a little bit, which gives you a metamerism or a different bounce back of color. So we measure all those things out to make sure we have the correct color in place.
Cool. And one other thing, now I know that for some people, they might even want to do, you guys have your own colors, right? You
We
have your
do,
own.
we do. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go on
So,
our website, waterbasedfinish.com, and we have our own color swatch. We just choose that one, and we actually spit it out for you just like that, and we ship it. Really, the next day we ship it.
yeah.
That's how fast we can be with those colors. But yeah, we do have our own color swatch. You can go on our website and buy it.
Yeah. I think that might be good for some guys that need like a faster turnaround time because, you can cross reference, a lot of these colors and they're, I mean, depending on how picky people are, but in my experiences is I do that all the time. Somebody has a color and then, whoever I'm buying my material from doesn't have that color deck. So we just cross reference it, with another color. But I think that's a good way, you could take these with you, to your clients or designers or whoever you're working for, or and use just the straight Renner colors.
Yes. Let me. I really wanted to show you because I know we have a couple more things to talk about. But I really want to show you some cool things that are actually in their studio here.
Okay.
Some really cool products that might be kind of interesting. So I'm gonna. So like I told you in the past, 80% of all their stuff here is going to be water based. I'm gonna take a. See, this is the showroom here.
Awesome.
All the products. So anywhere from like an antique guitar look or just different finishes across the board. Now some stuff that's really cool are going to be these glass coatings that are strictly water based. So strictly water based glass coatings all the way across the board, different effects. I'm really working on something like this, which is the metallic glass. Another one here, metallic glass coating, and it's all water-based system. Those are the kind of systems that I'm really focusing on here, just for a particular customer. Also, stuff like this, which is like reactive stains, all reactive stains here. The copper look that people are doing, which is like the rust effect, all water-based. So
nice.
They really put a lot of emphasis into water base. There's also a PVC coating that they developed. So exterior PVC coating, and really their entire line is all water-based technology across the board when it comes to exterior coatings, all in general. In the United States, in North American market, we're really stuck on having a hard surface for our water base, or for our exterior applications. But in North America, they believe in flexibility over hardness, and also treating the wood correctly. So in reality, instead of just putting a high gloss coating, like I've seen a number of guys doing, they just spray it on. In reality, you should treat the wood. So it can have the high gloss coating can actually last over time. So you'll add a preservative into the wood all the time, every time. Add a preservative first, and then you go ahead and do your top coat, or your sealer coat, then top coat. That's the proper way of doing things. You shouldn't just shoot material on over and over again until you get the high gloss look you're looking for, or even the painted look you're looking for. It really should start off with the preservative. So those are the kind of things that the North American market still needs a little bit of knowledge on, is exterior finishes. I see myself that, people are getting some nice looks, but exterior is not, it's meant for looks, but majority of exterior is meant for durability. How are you going to get maximum durability out of an exterior application if you do not put a preservative or treat the wood before you top coat it? Well, that's going to happen with the impregnator, right? Preservative. So those are the things I see that the Italian market is doing better than the North American market, but we can catch up very fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's been like the Achilles heel for just about any finisher I've ever talked to, big, small, is the exterior issues. I'm glad you really brought that up. I mean, my experience has been, it depends on, sun, but in a really harsh application, I'm going to get 3 years max, and that's it.
Oh, yes.
Would you say that like going with a system like this, it's going to increase that some, or what?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
It depends on where they're at. You need
Sure.
maximum flexibility of the product. That's why going to, like, let's say a 2K polyurethane product isn't probably the best application, because even if it's underneath a porch or some kind of shading, you're still going to get the exterior changes of weather. So there'll still be some flexing going on.
Right.
So I believe water-based would be the best system for it, because it allows for maximum flexibility. As you said before, you've seen the Renner products are flexible.
Yeah.
The exterior products are even more flexible.
Nice.
So we do have a 3-in-1, which is a impregnator, a sealer, and top coat all in one product. Or we have an impregnator you can put on the surface, and then you can go ahead with a sealer and a top coat. So those are the systems that we would recommend to you. We also have a rejuvenator that you can give to your customer. So if your customer says, how do I keep up my door? Well, you use this product, you spray it on, clean it off, and then you spray the other product on, and then you just wipe it. And then it rejuvenates the product. It actually puts another film layer over the existing material. So now your 5-year exterior job, the durability probably lasts around 5 years. Now it's changed over to 10 years if every 6 months your customer is doing this. So
nice.
Those are the kind of products that we have available to the market in North America. So,
man, that's fantastic to hear. That's awesome. So when I know you showed some of the reactive stains, and so I would suggest that some of you guys that are on Instagram go check out his stories, because he shot one of those on there, and man, that was cool. Because in North America we have all these little things that we do, and tea bags, and mixing up all these crazy concoctions, and then it takes you know what I'm talking about, though. The guys take they soak them, and then they soak the wood with it. But yeah. So
I make Eric Reason blush a little bit. Look at that. He's blushing.
Nice. Good job, man.
But yes, actually, I can show you some reactive stains. Give me a second.
All right.
So, pretty cool stuff, man. All right, look at it. So, this was oak, like almost like a flooring, like a how do you say it? How would you describe this kind of tongue and groove kind of flooring, right? So, the reactive stain was this one, the very bottom. After we put it on the reactive stain, then we go ahead and neutralize it. The pH level on this one's going to be like a 2 or a 3. And then we neutralize it with the neutralizer that is a pH level of like 13, 14. And that brings it around 6, 7, or 8, which is perfect for wood applications. So you can see how it was darker and then it became lighter.
Cool.
Just 2 coats. Now the grain effect that we see here is all done by a patina or a glaze that is applied directly to the wood. You don't have to put a top coat. Directly to the wood, and then you, after it dries for about 30 minutes, you knock it off like a knockoff glaze or a powder glaze, and then it just knocks off. But this is directly to the wood, which is unheard of. I've never heard of a product that goes directly to the wood and you can knock it off.
Right.
So that will skip a step for you. Then you can put your two top coats over the material, and you should be good to go. We like to use either 713 or even a hydro oil, a natural look hydro oil, and that'll give you, even our hydro oil, 2K hydro oil, will give you the durability you need, and also the 713 will give you the durability you need for constant traction over the surface.
Now on that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. On that hydro oil, is that something that it has like a real low sheen? Because I know that's really popular with a lot of like floors and things like that. People that are doing hardwood flooring and stuff. So it is. Okay, cool.
Yes, and then we also have a flooring line called Solid Renner, and that's our flooring line that you can easily apply a zero sheen to this, no problem, with our flooring line. But you can see how reactive the stains are.
Yeah.
So this is the first stain that went down. And then here, we added a neutralizer, and we actually did, I believe on this one we did a reduced neutralizer. The more you reduce it, the lighter the neutralizer will be. So we did a neutralizer. It's kind of backwards. So the thinking on it's a little bit backwards, but
yeah,
you reduce it, the lighter the neutralizing will be, the lighter the color will turn out. The more neutralizer you put in. So if you don't have any water in your neutralizer, then it'll be a darker shade than this. So there's different ways you can play with it. But then we put on that glaze system, like I told you before, and it easily harmonized the surface and made it really poppy as far as any kind of cherusing.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. You can go from here to here, which is stain and neutralizer.
That's awesome, man. That is very
totally
cool.
different. And this one is just straight. This is that glaze I was talking about, straight on the wood. You just put it on the wood, knocked it off. No reactive stain on this one at all. This is directly on the wood, and we knocked it off, and then we top coated it, and it's done. So we have full cherusing without having to put a sealer on the wood first. So this allows for maximum adhesion to the surface without having to pancake a glaze in between two top coats. This is the best system you can actually get.
That is that right there is like super popular around here right now. Like
Yes.
it's interesting. It's like that whitewashed oak look is like back again, and then they want like no sheen on it. So that's awesome. Yeah, very cool. All right, so while we're talking about the stains, can you talk a little bit about the water-based stains, and can you guys, match those as well, or are those just stock? Because one of the things that is crazy about those, and I've never in my life seen those with a water-based stain, is I can take the blotchiest wood ever and spray it on there, and it comes out and it's freaking perfect.
Yeah, the harmonization of these stains are phenomenal. They're really phenomenal. We use majority of the resin. It's the resin technology inside the stain that allows us to shoot on the material and not have any kind of blotchiness. And depending on how much resin to water that we use can either penetrate this the surface or can sit on top of the surface depending on what effect you're trying to get. For instance, this one was done with just pure the resin that we use for our water-based stains. And it was shot on, and it came out, one coat came out amazing. And it even has the depth that you would find in wipe off, wipe on glaze. But the harmonization of this material is pretty phenomenal. I know it's oak, but even the grains are harmonized with the surfaces of the wood. These are the effects that we can get with the rendered stain systems. Now, if somebody wants our stain system, they can submit a sample to us and we can match it, or we can give you the regular base and some colorants that you can do yourself.
Gotcha.
If you want to put some money into a color system that you can do yourself, or you can send it to us, we'll get it done for you, we'll ship it back to you, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I when I first did that, and I think I posted some stuff on Instagram, I don't think my buddies believed me. And then Matt Slater was one of them. He goes, dude, I shot the stuff and you were right. I was like, I told you, man, I wasn't lying. But it's just because, we've never seen anything, like that before. At least I haven't. Everything I've seen water-based is blotchy. And I mean, even solvent-based stuff can be blotchy. But yeah, I think I shot it on a piece of Baltic birch, which can be a nightmare, and it was like perfect, unbelievable. And also that stuff, like you can hammer it on and it doesn't run. I mean, I pushed the limit and got it to run, but you can spray that stuff vertically, and I mean it comes out beautiful too. And you think, oh my gosh, I've just ruining this, but no, it's awesome.
It comes out nice, especially if you're doing inside of boxes. We have multiple laps. Then you're able to do those laps and not have to worry about runs. And I understand the nightmare. Believe me, I've been there many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's great because you don't have to use a how would you say you don't have to treat the wood.
Like a blotch control or something like that, or a pre-stain.
Yeah, pre-stain. Yes, you don't have to use a pre-stain.
Yeah.
Shoot the product directly over it, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I know I've introduced this product to a guy in California up in Lancaster, and they love it. And they do high production stuff for Marriott's, etc.
Yeah. But, I mean, for blotchy wood, pines and stuff like that, if you want that perfect look, I mean, that's the way to go. That stuff is amazing for sure.
Exactly. And they're actually doing some more research into some stain resins that we are hoping to bring into the United States that help out even more so with the blotchiness. So,
wow! I don't see how you can get any better. That stuff's just, like I said, mind blowing.
Yes.
Well, we're about to run out of our time allotment here, and I want you to get back to what you're doing. But real quickly, I saw that on the glass stuff, water based on glass. Now that's interesting. Or are those like a glass look, or because when you paint
water
around,
based on glass.
That's cool.
We clean the glass with a certain cleaner that we have, and then we add the resin inside of water, and then we can add. It's a backward system because you're gonna do in the back of the glass, and what you flip over is what you're gonna see.
Sure.
So we have to do whatever look you're trying to see first, and then the back of the glass we put a black coating. Or you can leave it as is if you want the transparency of the sun transparent, going through the material. If you put a black coating behind it, then you'll have no sun coming through, and then all you see is the coating.
Right.
So it depends on what kind of look you have. If you have sun coming in on the other side or not. If you just have cups in the cupboard and you want your glass to be look like it's cracking or look like it's metallic, then that's the kind of system you would use. And we design those for you. So if somebody says, I want a glass coating, you send us, a black matte piece like this, then we can go ahead and design a coating for you and then send it off to you.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Also, while we're talking about that, but you guys have the exterior like bed liner material too that you had posted a couple of weeks ago. That's really cool too. And that's all water based.
Yeah, it can be applied on basically anything. Bed liners, on cement, for safety strips. If you want to put it on a wall for texture, or even the bottom of the baseboard by the baseboards, or whatever you want to do, that'll probably be the best durability overall. But yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff, man. It's just like a rubberized coating that you can shoot out of a hopper. I believe you can go on Amazon and buy a hopper because a lot of people have been asking about that. What did I shoot it with? What did I shoot with? Go to Amazon, look up texture spray gun or whatever. I think it's like $23-$30.
Yeah.
You can buy a texturizer and just spray it on, or you can go to Home Depot.
Yeah, it's basically a drywall texture gun, right?
Yeah.
Just with the big giant hopper on it. Yeah.
It's like this big. It's like
it's huge. They're huge. I had a buddy of mine gave me one, and I was like, "What am I going to do with this thing? Throw it out?" And now I got, you guys got that. I'm like, man, I wish I had it.
You can go back on the sites and buy it for $30.
There you go. Big thing. Or we can make a trip down to my favorite Harbor Freight and see if they got one.
They probably do. They probably can ship it from China, no problem.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. Maybe I'll do a TikTok video on that. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Very good. Yes.
Well, hey, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to say that, water-based is definitely creeping across the United States. Majority I see it in California, up and down the coast. We start seeing a lot more. But I think eventually you're going to see the solvent-based polyurethane starting to weave out, get out of the system, and a lot more people using water-based because the durability, the look of this is phenomenal. Now, somebody might be online or looking at this video and say, dude, I tried water-based 10 years ago or 5 years ago and it wasn't the same. Well, the Italian technology is totally different. The viscosity is different. The hang is different. The dry time is different. The durability is phenomenal. More so than the pre-cal or even post-catalyzed conversion varnish materials. Obviously, we know acid catalyzed materials, you spray too much on, it cracks. You spray too little on, you don't get the good durability. Water-based technology, totally different. You can spray as much as you want, 10 to 15 dry mills. and you'll have no issues. You might have a little bit of, you're spraying so much material on, you might have a little bit of discoloration of the wood. But other than that, you can keep on spraying this and won't have failure of finish.
I mean, look, I'm seeing this even from other, like, even OEM big shops and stuff and big companies, like the pressure is on for them to, be greener. And man, there's a lot of stuff that I've learned in the last 6 months that, like, I had no idea was like water based, and you walk by it every day and you see it every day, and it's in the malls and all these places. So yeah, yes. It's pretty amazing. Now, do you guys have speaking of, do they deal any with like universal primers where like guys like have like a trim package or something and you can shoot solvents over the top of it?
Yes, actually our 643 primer would be great for any kind of, we ask for like 2K because that gives you maximum durability to any kind of the substrate, and also gives you the hardness you need to be more universal.
Gotcha.
I had guys that sprayed that universal primer from Chemcraft in Malaysia with the conversion varnish. Yeah. And they've had crack still.
Oh, okay.
But that could be a number of different things, go back and forth. But yeah, I would say you need a hard, sturdy material like a 643 with 2K in it.
And it was funny. You posted a picture and of that 643, and like I'll be honest with you, like you can shoot the 643 and be done. It's done. Just, I mean, it's crazy durable too. Like it's just as durable as the freaking top coat.
Yeah, it'd be as durable as a pre-cat, really, when it comes down to it. As durable as pre-cat. Obviously, if you add the 851 material on top of it, uncatalyzed, or even we have a new product, C005, that we're going to bring in pretty soon, which is a 1K. If you add those products on top of the surface, obviously you get added durability because they are designed for more of a top coat. But yeah, you can do the 643 by itself, and you could walk away from a project, but customer doesn't want to pay that much. 2 coats of 643, it blocks tandems, it blocks stains, and you can put acetone on it, as you saw in some of your tests.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
no brainer.
It's crazy. I mean, it would obviously be a lower sheen, but I mean, I think, to me, in my opinion, it's more durable than a pre-cat.
But definitely.
That's just my opinion based on what I did. Well, Bryan, man, dude, this was awesome. Thanks. So much information. And
dude, that's another thing too, is that like our information that we're sharing now, when I first started finishing, no one will share anything with you. So the networking that we have, the sharing capabilities that we have now, it's phenomenal to me, because we could easily go onto these forums on Facebook or Woodweb. People are constantly talking about finishing and how we can improve processing. Like I said, when I grew up in finishing, it was, you mess up and you learn how to fix it. And you mess up and you learn how to fix it. It's not like, oh, I have this job, what do I do? You got to really think about it. What do you do? Well, you got to go down to the store and try to get this product to see if it works. If it doesn't work, you got to strip it and get another product,
Right.
And constantly going around the horn that way. But yeah, I think what we're doing here is phenomenal, and I appreciate the time.
Yeah, man, thanks for doing that. And that's kind of like the last thing I wanted to touch on is, like, with social media is, you can get so much great information, and, I'm out here just kind of putting my bleeding so that I can show people different products. And it's not, a lot of people, it's not necessarily that one product's better than the other, because all these products have a place in the marketplace. It's just trying to help people choose the right product for whatever it is they're doing. Because, I mean, obviously I use multiple products. I'm going to be getting into more of the Renner now that I've seen these things. I've got a job that I'm starting in next week that's a couple of built-ins, and it's all going to be Renner. It's like 1067 and 1245 with the crosslinker in it. I wish I'd have known when I got into that about the cool 851, because I want to use that one now on one. But yeah, and then I'm also working on a personal project, a big chest on chest, and I think I'm gonna once I get that velvet touch, I may use that, or I'm gonna use the 855 on that big dresser I got. But yeah.
The clarity of the 855 It's phenomenal. The clarity it's so clear. It's unbelievable. I actually tested the HSC series against the HSC series against the 855, and ours was definitely more clear. The 850, the HSC series has a little bit more of an amber.
Yeah, it does.
I would say more of a foggier look. Ours is going to be straight clear.
Right.
So.
Well, and that's what I want because I'm shooting this on that flame birch. I don't know if you've ever seen that stuff finished, but it just boom.
Boom. Yeah, it'd be beautiful. Those metamerisms are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The way it shifts, the shifting of light is going to be amazing.
Yeah. So is that what the Italians call that? Because around here they'll say, I think it's more French, but chatoyance. Is that the same thing? Like when you move it, how the light kind of changes
I've always
sort of
called
holographic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I always call it metamerism, the way the light bounces off the surface.
Gotcha.
That's the way I grew up when I was doing my own tinting, and also tinting for Worth. It was metamerism all the way around. So.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. Every day's a school day, I've heard that before, but it's funny how some of these terms, like one guy calls it one thing and another guy calls it another. So I like to try to get those out, and so that when people say these things, they kind of have an idea of what they're talking about. Well, Bryan, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks. And how can just real quick, how can guys get in touch with you? What's the best way? Like you're on Instagram at Fine Wood Finishers, at Water Based Finishers.
At Water Based Finishers.
Sorry.
Water Based Finish, or you can go to our website, waterbasefinish.com. Or you can go waterbased, the D, finish.com. It all goes to the same.
Nice. That's smart.
Or you can do that. Or you can call me directly, and you can call me directly. Let me see if I remember my number: 949-793-3308. I don't care. If you have questions, please call me. And then I'll direct you to wherever I need to direct you at. But please also call our offices or go to our website, and then our office number is on there as well. And then you can move from there.
Yeah, I need to do like a video screen demo of like how to go through your all system, because it's really well designed and it's really easy to type in everything you need.
Dude, it's getting better. I'm telling you, it's gonna get way
cool.
better. We're gonna have individual pages for everything. So if you want top coat white or top coat clear, we'll have individual pages that pop up. And we're redesigning it to still have the same features as it currently has, but it's gonna be even better. That's just
awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing this, and we'll look forward to doing some more stuff in the future.
Most definitely.
And also, while I'm thinking about it, if you're just watching this and you haven't tried it yet, but they do have a coupon code for subscribers of mine, or if you're not a subscriber, I don't care. But it's 10% off your first order, and it's test, don't guess, which is my saying at the end of all my videos. So make sure if you haven't tried any Renner out that you go try some of these coatings out. I think people really like them. I haven't heard anybody that's like, oh, I tried it and I did not like it. So that's great to hear. So
yes.
All right, Bryan. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Most definitely. Bye.